Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols and I'm going to bring you your Nichols Worth, and today from Cambridge we have the ESV Aquila, also known as the ESV wide margin. So let's take a look at a few features that it has. First of all, the goatskin cover. It does look quite nice. I do like the fact they stamp Holy Bible on the cover. It is a very interesting touch. The grain on this looks really good. I almost wonder if this is not a stamped grain. I'm not real sure that it is or isn't, but it is a very nice grain perimeter stitched. When you get the spine, you see that classic Cambridge spine with the kind of little bit raised hubs, but more tooled. And you have the stamp work here, really stamped in nicely so it won't rub off. You have those classic red and gold head and tail bands. Two what appear to be Beresford ribbons. They may not be Beresford ribbons, but I perceive that they are. They're very nice. That line will eventually come out. And if you wanted to rush the process, you could go ahead and iron it out, but you got to do it really light steam. Be very careful on that. I would just say work with it and let it go. Now, a couple of things about the layout that are very interesting for you to know. This is the ESV Diadem, and this has an 8.2 font with the leading space. It has about an 8.5 appearance. This is a 7.9 font, but with the leading space it has about an 8.2 appearance. Now the reason I pull both of these in together is because the Pitt Minion, which is the smaller version of the Diadem, has the exact same layout and pagination, and so does this ESV wide margin. When you go to Leviticus, you will see it's on the same page, page 81 here, page 81, and you'll see the layout is exactly the same. So if you're a person that loves the Diadem, and you love that layout, but you want some margin space and you're willing to sacrifice just a little bit of font size, this is a pretty phenomenal option. And what really makes this nice is it has some ample margin space. When you look at the margin space here, it has just about 1.5 inches on the outside. It has just about 1.25 inches on the bottom. A little bit less on the top, but let's just go ahead and do the text and let's rule out the chapter number here. Right about 1 inch. When you do the chapter, it gives you about 3/4 of an inch. And then when you consider the margin space, usable, we're going to say about 3/4 of an inch. So really, really nice margin space. And that's what really makes the ESV wide margin from Cambridge stand out. It's one of the very few wide margins that has a true wide margin all the way around. The advantage of this is that you can write your notes with your text. So let's just say that you're over here and you want to write a note on Leviticus chapter 4 verse 1, then you can put it here. But then if you're over here and you want to write a note on Leviticus 3 verse 1, then you have that space. You also have some space along the bottom for your notes and along the top. So if you want to write an entire sermon, you can do that right here in your Bible. So again, the layout is exactly the same. The font is just a little bit smaller. It's a double column, a 7.9 font with an 8.2 leading space. It has your references in the middle and it has your notes in the corner. Same exact deal as this. References in the middle, notes in the corner. So it's going to be paginated exactly the same. When you get to the New Testament, you're going to see some really nice dark red letters. Now this one has the Apocrypha in it, so it's also going to kind of mess up the pagination. But as you can see, really nice dark red letters in the Diadem, really nice dark red letters in the Aquila. So this is a phenomenal layout. I love the red lettering. Everything just looks really nice and sharp. I like center column references. As a matter of fact, that's my preference on a double column setup. Whenever you put them on the bottom with the notes, it can kind of get a little clunky in the way. I really like the fact that they have the notes and the references completely separated so that you can tell the difference. The only real way to handle it on bottom references is to put a line and then to put, say, your notes over here and your references over here. For me, it's very difficult to weed through the difference, so I like that they're completely separated. When you get to the back, this is really nice. It has some lined note pages. If you don't have enough note space in your text, then you have several lined pages here. It also has your map legends and the things that you would see in your Diadem or your Pitt Minion. It also has some blank pages here, so you can take some notes alphabetically if you were wanting to index your own notes. And then it has your concordance. So really sharp. This thing is excellent. The one knock, if I was to knock it and give it one knock, I would knock the liner. Because the liner, it's some kind of polymer and it's really shiny. It just looks a little bit cheap. And that is a disappointing feature in this. However, I watched Matthew Everhard's review on the one that he beat to death. And apparently this polymer holds up fantastically. So this is more just a subjective thing on my part. I would prefer an animal skin liner. I think this is absolutely a great layout. It's absolutely a great functional wide margin Bible. In the ESV, they also have this available in other translations if you want to utilize that as well. But if you like the Pitt Minion and you want just a little bit larger of font and some margins, then you've got it right here. If you like the Diadem and you can handle just a little bit smaller of a font to get the margins, then you've got it right here. This is an excellent Bible and an excellent layout. One final thought though, this thing is quite expensive, so you're going to pay the price for it. But if it's in your price range and it's something you'll find useful, it's an excellent tool. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholas Worth.